and welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Esther and I'm the Danish Stitcher. It has been a while, but today is Friday afternoon, weekend, yay! And when I came home from work, I decided, hey, I want to do a Flosstube. It has been a while and I really want to make a Flosstube, so here I am. My last Flosstube was from January 15, and my stitching book left for vacation on the 11th of January, and I didn't start stitching again for a very long time. I was beginning to wonder if I would ever come back to stitching, but I have seen that with other Flosstubers that suddenly they lose their stitching book and then luckily it returns. That was also the case for me, because in the last weeks of February I started reclaiming this room, my craft room, and after I was done with the redecoration of my my craft room, teacher, my stitching book returned, and in these days of March that have passed so far, I have stitched almost 4,000 stitches. I know it's not a lot compared to what I usually stitch, but it's good. And I might not get to my 200,000 goal for this year. And you know what? I don't care. The most important thing for me this year is actually that I only stitch on what I want to stitch on. That means I do not take part in Whip Go or Stitch Mania or whatever, Christmas in July. I don't take part of any sales, unless you count the 2 sales from last year. I haven't finished that yet. Then I do participate, but I might not stitch on those projects this year. So as I said, I only stitch on what I want to stitch on. A short life update. As you will know if you have seen other of my videos, my ex and I decided to split up in around October. And first he had to buy himself a new house. He found a new place to stay. And on the 23rd of December he moved out, and on the 28th of December he finally removed his big 350 liters aquarium. Yay! The aquarium was usually standing here behind me, and I felt so happy when the house was finally mine. So I know it was the right decision, and I haven't looked back, because what's important for me now is to get on with my new solo life. So far I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying that, just living here with the cats. Between Christmas and New Year I redecorated the bedroom and turned it from our bedroom into my bedroom, and I have changed it very drastically. I mean, color-wise. Before we used to have light colors, now I have dark colors, and I love it. I love the fact that my bedroom is now dark. That means no sun. I also have very, very dark curtains, which means that the room is actually dark when I go to sleep. Before we had these light colors and a white curtain, so there was always light in the bedroom. In the beginning of January I got my new bed delivered, so for the first time in several years I actually sleep through the night. Before I had problems with the bed and could only sleep for 2 or 3 hours, and then I would wake up because my back hurt me. That's history now. Now I can sleep for 5 or 6 hours without waking up. So it means that when I wake up in the morning, I feel, hey, I have actually been sleeping this night. I have way more energy. I do not need to take naps every afternoon as I used to do. So a whole bunch of extra energy, and it's so nice. So, and you can probably also see that I'm really doing okay. Good. Let's move into the stitching, shall we? First of all, while I was doing all this redecoration and stuff, I found an old stitching of mine. I think I did it back in 1990 or 1991. It's this one. It's at that time it was my favorite band. Smokey was my favorite band from 1975 until about 2000. It doesn't mean that I don't like them anymore, but usually now I only listen to the original Smokey. This piece is dedicated to the second Smokey. Yeah, I made the pattern myself, and now of course I need to iron it and find a frame, and then I will put it up on my wall in here. My wall of fame. No, it's not a wall of fame, but it's, or you could, I don't remember what I call it in the video of my craft room, but you will see it there. So that was kind of fun to find that. I do not remember what project I showed you in my last video, and I didn't have the time to go back and watch it. So I think, well, I'm just going to show what I've been stitching on in the last, here in the month of March. This year I've decided that I need as few restrictions as possible, as I said before. But I do have one restriction, or kind of restriction, that I actually try to see how many of my whips I can actually finish this year. That doesn't mean that I don't start new stuff. I shouldn't, but I do suddenly feel, oh, I need to stitch this, or I need to do that. And usually it's a pattern I make by myself, and then I stitch it and finish it, and then move back to one of my whips. So you could say that maybe I do not succeed that well, but at least I did have some finishes this year already, even though I didn't stitch for 1.5 months. But the first project is, I think I have shown it to you. I call it quilt pattern. I have done something like this before. You see, I have a lot of leftover greens from back when I did not put them in the numbers, so I don't know the numbers, but I don't want to throw it out. So I make these quilt patterns like this. And this is a travel piece. I usually do, Carsten used to drive the car. Now I drive the car, so I cannot be stitching at the same time. So I didn't get very far on it yet, but it's okay. I mean, I'm in no hurry to finish it, so no problem with that. I'm going to show you that I did other, maybe some of you remember, I did them in blue and Kenzo colors and Christmas colors and purple colors. A friend of mine, this is one of the small projects that I accidentally did. A friend of mine, he has a phrase that he very often says, and sometimes it annoys me. And then I thought I would make a little fun of him. So I turned his phrase into this. Yeah, it's in Danish. It says, "Så det gider vi ikke snakke om." It means, oh well, we don't want to talk about that. Because he keeps saying that. I don't know what he's going to say about this, because, I mean, it's still here. But anyway. And then my temperature houses by Jardin Privé. Last time you saw it, I'm pretty sure that I had only stitched 5 or 6 of the houses. And then in March I started working on it, and I stitched more than 2,000 stitches on it. And as you can see, it's not completely up to date, but the first days of March, the threads are already here, just ready to be stitched. And yeah, I don't know when I'm going to stitch on it again. Actually, it was quite nice having to stitch a lot of houses on it, so maybe I will just stitch on it once a month or something like that. And if I do have a little time, I might put in the thread so it's ready to go. I might also bring it to work, because when we have meetings, it's a very easy stitch to sit with. If you recall it, I also did houses last year, and I think that's my favorite way to do the temperature. It's a very easy stitch, and I think it would be fun to compare the years. I mean, another little finish. This is a bit cheeky, so if you're not into stuff like that, then please look away for the next minute or so. I saw this the other day as a meme, and I laughed, so I thought I gotta stitch this one, and it looks like this. Maybe that's just my sick kind of humor, but I liked it. And then I have been working on my Buffy sampler. I have finished all the crosses, the full crosses. There are 28,190 of them. And I'm so happy that it's moving forward. And I'm very happy with how it looks. I mean, I still need about 2,000 back stitches, but it looks like this. I think you can see all of it now. I am so pleased with how this one turns out. I wanted so much to make a Buffy sampler, and I couldn't find any patterns, which is why I made my own pattern. And it took me 15-20 hours at least to make this pattern, and I love it. And I remember I said that I would get it professionally framed because it's such a big piece, but I have to save my money, so I might have to try framing it myself. That makes me a bit uneasy because I don't want to mess it up. So when I'm done stitching on it, I might just put it aside and wait a bit, then maybe I will find the money to get it professionally framed. I don't know yet. So, but anyway, I'm very happy with it. Oh yeah, and I stitched 915 stitches on it. These were my projects. As I said, I'm only going to stitch on whatever I want to stitch on, and preferably only when I have finished a whip can I start a new one. Not that I always succeed in doing that. I just prove to you. But anyway, back in January, I kitted up, or maybe it was this I think actually it was December. I think Carsten was still living here when I did it. So probably before Christmas, I kitted up 9 projects, so they're ready to go. And now I'm going to show you what these projects are. Okay, the first one is Pew Pew. That's how I call it. Pew Pew Cat. I'm going to stitch this on a 14 count Ada because I had, this was one of the first colored pieces of fabric I bought when I took up stitching again. And back then I thought I was only going to stitch on 14 count, and now I want to use it. I mean, I even gridded it I don't use grids now. I only use grids because it was new. I just heard about it, but I don't like the grids. Maybe I will like these a bit more because on easy count, I find it very difficult. This is probably just me. I know a lot of you like them. I find it difficult to find out. So where should I start? On the line or next to? Because usually the lines go between two of the holes. So where do I start? No, never mind. For this one, I want to use other colors than the call for. I'm going to use Miso Cedar silks. I also need the black one, but that's DMC. I don't remember all the names of these, but I will write them down, those I don't remember. I don't know why I didn't write them on this, but I didn't. I think this one, something with D. I forgot it. I'm going to write it down. And then we have Mojito and Pride. I cut Pride up, so I divided it into pink and turquoise on one side, and then these red, yellow, red, orange, green colors on the other floss. And then for the orange one, Sienna, one of my favorites. And this one I forgot the name of, and same go for this. So I'm going to write the names down here. I think it's going to look absolutely beautiful with all this variegation. And I love working on silks. The next one is actually 4 projects. I have chosen 18 count vintage marble for all projects, and I don't think I know I'm not going to use all of it, so if I buy more countries in this series, I still have the fabric for projects. As I said, I have kitted them up. This one's colors for Greece, a lot of blue ones, and Denmark, and the UK, and Italy. So these are the first questions. I might also eventually, let's see how hard they are to stitch, I might also buy the one of Germany, because I like Germany a lot. This one is, let me see, Hobbit Hole. It's on a, I'm going to stitch this on a 32 hand-dyed opalescent Ada, hand-dyed by me, and it's light blue with some darker blue and brownish spots. And these are the colors, and I'm pretty sure I did a floss toss, so I think they look nice. And this was back in the days where all my fabrics were in a chest of drawers, and I had to take out every piece every time I had to pick a piece of fabric. It was very annoying. Now I did show it on Instagram. I have changed that, and now it's very easy for me to find a new piece of fabric. The next one is going to be Halloween cats. I'm going to stitch this on this 18 count opalescent notes silver lurex, which I hand dyed. And these are the colors. I think they will look absolutely nice on it. And if not, well, just bad luck. Another Hobbit piece. This is a menu card. I think the breakfast, second breakfast, stuff like that. I'm going to use this. It's called Darling. Mitsushita silk and then DMC 310. It only has 2 colors. No, I decided only to have 2 colors. And I'm going to stitch it on this. I'm not sure it's Ada. I did say that in a German video. It might be permillant because it kind of feels like that. And I know this fabric is very old. It's at least 50 years old. I have, it used to be white, but I have dyed it. And it's very, very light yellow, but it does have some marbling in it, but very faint. But I think, I mean, black goes to everything, but I think this color Darling looks absolutely great on it. So that's why I chose that color. And then I like stitching with silks. And I have a lot of silks and I need to use it. And the last one, it's called Keep Your Heels High. It's to celebrate my new solo life. I'm just going to stitch this on plain easy count, 18 count. As you can see, the pattern use black, beige, sorry for the crinkling, black, beige and red. I'm not going to use that. I am going to use black and these 2 colors. Very light blue and a darker blue. The darker blue is actually the same color as this one, 798. It's one of my favorite blue colors. That was it. And now it's time for Hi and welcome to Curator's Corner. I do not have a lot to show you when it comes to stuff I bought because I hardly bought anything. You know, I have to save my money, blah, 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 blah. But I did buy some frames. These sizes, because these sizes are kind of unusual. This one is, it doesn't even say it. No. Yeah. No. It's because it's for smaller photos. You can put, it has a passepartout in it. And this one as well. This is, by the way, the same frame I used for the lighthouse I stitched for Ilonka. I bought 4 or 5 of each of them because the shop is closing. It's not my local needle shop, but it's where I usually buy my DMC because they're cheaper than elsewhere. But he's retiring, the owner, and he's not selling his shops. So talking about DMC, I only bought these, not much. And then I got Happy Mail. I got Happy Mail from Vanessa. Thank you, Vanessa. She sent me a nice, it was a Christmas greeting. She sent me this beautiful card. And then she sent me 3 DMC colors. And I really like the combination of those colors. They look so great together. And eventually I'm going to make a project where I'm going to use these 3 colors. I just have to find the right project first, or maybe I will make it myself. I don't know yet, but thank you very much, Vanessa. I also bought 2 storage boxes for my craft room when I redecorated it, but that's about it. Last Sunday I dyed 10 pieces of 18 count Ada, all of them opalescent, if I remember correctly. And now I'm going to show them to you. This one It's very fluorescent green. It looks like acid green. I'm going to use it for a Halloween project someday. I don't know which yet. And one of my favorites again, blue greenish one. And then I like to do these speckles, I think it's called. This is gray with no hello, Quintus. Yeah, you want to say hello? Come here. Come here. So, say hi to Quintus. I had so many problems with him because he decided to leave the garden again. So for a very long time, I had to stand out every day 10, 15, 20 minutes so that they could get some fresh air and then get them in again. Now, my neighbor was so kind and helped me. So we secured the garden again and again. And now, oh, could you please be quiet? Shh. Be quiet. And now I can just open the door and they can go in and out how they want to. And it's so nice that I don't have to stand outside in the cold anymore. So going back to the speckles, I was saying this is light blue with some gray and darker blue and some yellow spots as well. And this is another one, another greenish one with gray. Yeah, exactly. What? And a light blue with darker blue and gray color. And as you can see, they're all opalescent. Yeah, could you please be quiet? Could you please be quiet? Crazy cat. Oh, of course, usually when I dye, there are always pieces that I'm not that very fond of, and that's also the case this time. I still try to see if I can dye red. It's absolutely the most difficult color to dye for me. This is not red. This is rosa, pinkish, and I really don't like it. And it has some darker spots as well. The other one, which is dyed with another red color, I think with the color oxblood, it's still pink. It's a little better, but still, it's just not my color. So I don't know if I'm going to re-dye it, probably. And now the failure, the absolute failure. I don't know what happened, but well. As you can see, even this doesn't look good. I think it was the first piece I was dyeing, so I was a bit out of practice, I think you could easily say. But it gets worse, because if you see the second part, what happened here, it has lines as well. I mean, this is definitely a piece I'm going to re-dye, because this is awful. But I wanted to show it to you that sometimes I do make mistakes. This is probably the worst mistake I made. I find it so ugly. So I'm definitely going to re-dye that one. I don't know when, probably when I dye the next time. And it's probably going to be a very dark color then. Not that I'm very fond on stitching on very dark colors, but I definitely don't want to stitch on this one. The last two ones, I'm very pleased with the result. They're kind of golden, as you can see. I really like how they turned out. And I'm positive that I have to experiment more with the brown color, I usually don't dye with brown. I think I'm really going to try next time to dye with just the brown color and see what that brings. And this one, sorry. And this one also have some, there you can see some greenish blue spots. I think it looks absolutely good. So, and you can see it's dark here and then lighter here, and that's because it's 18 counts. I very often make projects that are not that big, so this way I can make some projects on darker fabric, but also on lighter fabric. I think that was it. Now it's time for what you probably have been waiting for. I'm going to take you on a tour of my new craft room. Have fun. Hi, and welcome to my tour of the craft room. We will start up here. I have put on some extra light in here so the camera is able to focus. Up here you see some Christmas stitching and Christmas decorations, and all those bags up there have yarn. And actually inside here, you know, up here, it's filled to the brim with yarn. It's not that I'm knitting that much, but anyway. And I got some paper down here and more zipper bags and stuff like that. And in here, got some books. Then I got some pillows and something for knitting. All my, what do you call it, knitting needles. And for my chalk painting and other different kind of stuff that also has to do with different kind of crafting. Down here it's for mosaics. And then up here you can see there's a lot of stuff here. Let's start from the top. I mean, some of these boxes, it's not true what the sign says anymore. I mean, it was more, and some of the boxes are empty. It was more important for me to finish the decoration of the room, and then later I can put these boxes up to date with the signs on them. And up here I have books about mosaics, knitting, sewing, Christmas, paper cutting, and all these books are about the stitching. I do have more, but I put them away because it's these old Danish ones that I never use. And up here in this box I have frames for stitching. The blue back is this machine I use for when I make needle minders. And what's that over there? Ah, feathers. All kind of colors of feathers. And then we have knives, paper bags, my cones, most of my DMC cones. I don't know where the red one is. It's somewhere. I have stuff for dyeing. I have the towel on which I dry my floss. I have prepared some fabric for dyeing. I have some silks for dyeing. The rest of my red colors. And the acid that I use now, because I mostly do acid dyeing now. And for painting with the chalk paint, these are my extra DMC. When I have finished a project, I put them there. And then when I start a new project, first I see if I have some of the colors there, and then I take them. And then a lot of different kind of stuff. You can see the magnets down there. And then we have the floss as well as my sampler. Sorry about the lighting, but as I said before, the lighting is because otherwise I cannot film in here now because it's dark outside. Up here I have my, all this floss is hand-dyed floss. Up here is the floss I bought. That's Mesucidas and Weeks Dye Works and Colorworks and those ones I got from Kelly in Australia. The silks, and no, actually they are here. And then these two are my own, and then I have some more Mesucidas. And now the nicest or the most exciting part of my craft room, which reminds me, I didn't finish my, sorry, I talked about the dyeing, and then I have my beads here, and glue, different kind of glues. In here I have the Mill Hill, most of them are Mill Hills, and I have the thread, beading thread and beading needles. I have some more books here about stitching. These are two books about Carfazet, and this all my old Danish paper patterns. And then these folders I got, yeah, you can see my DMC. And then I got this one. I'm not going to say that much about it. Curator's Corner is stuff I'm going to show in my next Flosstube. And here you can see I have painted some frames. Some old frames I found very cheap and decided to paint them black. I think they need one more layer of black, and then I'm going to give them some wax, some clear wax, so that it shines. And now the most exciting part of my craft room. Up here I have all my DMC. I have 4 of these boxes, and I have at least the full set of DMC colors. And now my joy and pride, all my fabrics. So we start over here. That's my even weave, and it starts from 25, and then it comes 27, 28 and 32. I don't think there's anything higher than 32. And then we get to the Aida. That's an 8 count, but Christmas red. And then we have a little bit 11 count, and then a lot of 14 counts. A huge amount of fabric in 16 counts. And over here it's 18 counts, 20 counts, and at last 22 counts. And that's actually this per Milan, but it counts as 22. Then I have something for drawing. Not that I'm very good at it, but anyway. Over here in these bags, it's fabric. Different kind of fabric for project bags or finishing my whips. I got some frames here, bigger frames, and down here I have the smaller frames and some easels and something to stuff and some boxes with projects in, blah blah blah. A lot of, and here are stitching projects. They're not all whips. Some of them are projects I have just kitted up and haven't started yet. And here I got my plastic canvas, and then I got all these boxes here with a lot of stuff in it. I'm not going to show you. That's from making a cabochons and sewing, and these two are with buttons. This is for winding yarn or floss, and this one I use for for dyeing when I dye floss. And then some of my older projects. And over here, here paper, cardboard and bigger frames. And over here is the desk, the desk of drawers I used to have my fabric in. And I have changed that now. First of all, these two teddies, the one to the right was mine when I was a kid. And the other one was my dad's when he was a kid. So he lost a sock sometime. Different kind of tools for working. Not that very interesting. Some paint, some hoops, not that I use the hoops. My acid dyeing. All the stuff I need for acid dyeing. As you can see, I got quite a lot of colors here. And these are, I'm going to put the name down, what it is. I use it for acid dyeing. And it was cheaper for me to buy 1,000 of them than 10 or 100 or whatever it was. And these are for makeup when I'm dressing up for parties. Those two are wicks. And the last one has nothing to do with creativity. And then this blue wall, you can see I put out my Halloween stuff here. There will probably be more eventually. I have my computer here. And up here I got books and magazines, bills, blah, 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 whatever. And then here is my wall of fame. As you can see, with autograph and when I have met my favorite musicians and stuff like that. Yeah, and James Masters. I haven't met him, but still. And I decided to put it on. I think it looks very good on the blue wall, but I don't need to look at it every time I go in here, which is why it's fine by me that it's behind the door. And I have my bags there, and there. That was my craft room. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Welcome back. I really hope you enjoyed my craft room, and I hope that you can see why I'm so happy with how it turned out. Not everyone will probably like the way I have decorated my craft room, but hey, it's my craft room, right? So, but I hope I might have given you some ideas, or maybe not. So, thank you very much for watching. It has been very nice doing a video again. I hope that now my stitching bug is back, that I will go back to do a video once a month or so, but only time can tell. But for now, I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Bye.